26th of January. Can you believe we are almost at the end of the first month of the year? That is absolutely mind-blowing. So yes, it is Sunday the 26th of January 2025. It is exactly 2:35 p.m. And I would usually do my ramble videos on a morning, usually quite early. But this week I didn't get a chance to do it, so it's a bit later than it usually is. But still, the light is just starting to fade now, and within a couple of hours it will be getting dusky. But yeah, the light isn't great today. It's very grey, very overcast, which is a typical January day for the UK. So I hope everybody is well and having a great start to the year. And just again being quiet and taking in the ambience. I just want to say thank you once again for all of your comments and sticking with this channel. That just keeps going and going. I really do appreciate it, and I know that you know I appreciate it. So here we are then. How has January been for you? Has it been a good month? Has it been a month of New Year's resolutions and fresh starts and excitement? Or has it been dark and tough? Well, I do. Let's level with each other here, because sometimes I think we need to have that kind of talk about what's on your mind. A tough month. It's been a month I've felt a little bit sad, and it's been a strange month. So yeah, for those who don't know, I started working from home just last spring, and I would say winter working from home is a very, very isolating experience. I'm a very, very warm person who loves connection with others. I love to bounce off and small talk and just get to know each other. But it is a very, very tough gig when you rely on virtual meetings, etc. Because I've probably said this before, that it feels like a very purposeful discussion that you have, and when you are finished talking about what you're talking about, the call ends, and you end up sitting in a house on a desk looking at a screen for 8 hours a day, and it feels a little bit tougher than what I thought it would be. And I do put it down to just the winter blues, maybe. A tough month, the weather's been absolutely awful in the UK, as you would expect, of course, but it doesn't help. I'm sure I do suffer with a bit of a seasonal disorder. I can't remember the name for it, but I genuinely think I might actually, have that. It's just a sadness, a very penetrating sadness that just makes you feel as if you're a million miles away from anybody. And I questioned kind of, is the work I'm doing good or is it bad? I don't know, I'm just being honest. I mean, I could sit here and say my life is fantastic, my job is fantastic, but you know, in real life we have these kind of peaks and troughs. And I think I've really struggled with energy throughout January. Just a feeling of tiredness and the desire to just not do anything and rest and sleep and keep warm. And it's something that most people do experience, I'm presuming. Do you kind of feel like that? Like me, do you feel sometimes like a questioning, are you on the right path? Is the job you're doing, are you making the impression that you want to do? Yeah. It's a funny one, isn't it? But it's something you definitely need to talk about. And just put it out there. So there you go, the January blues have definitely hit me this month. But everything's fine, you know, it's not a case of me, you know, being overwhelmingly sad, but I just had a touch of it, I think, and yeah, questioning everything really. Let's have a look through the month and see what happened. So again, I'm just going to remember that after Christmas and New Year, I did the usual going back to the gym, walked into the gym and realised that everybody and their dog was there. It was packed, and already I've kind of seen, you know, that start to dip a little bit, but I generally just keep a 3 times a week minimum. It doesn't matter if I don't go any more than 3 times, but the minimum is 3 times. It's generally a Monday morning, Tuesday and a Wednesday morning. If I go a Thursday, great, you know, that is a plus, but rarely a Friday, Saturday or a Sunday. Just they tend to be my days when I have other things to do. You know, meeting up with friends, doing these videos, doing chores, doing this and that. But yeah, so I do like the gym a lot. I'm not a big sort of, you know, pulling weights, lifting weights and wearing spandex, nothing like that. Mine just tends to be, you know, a bit of tread, a bit of cardio, a bit of just kind of working up a bit of a sweat after being so sedentary all day, and it makes a bit of a difference. I normally listen to my headphones and just go off into another world, and yeah, I enjoy it, and I think going on a morning just kind of gives you that sharpness, maybe for the day ahead. Yeah. So yeah, gym is a regular thing for me, and I've mentioned about my job and just, I don't know, I'm going through a period of reflection and questioning, and I'm sometimes the kind of person that just needs a regular pep talk. It doesn't make me an attention seeker, anything like that. It's just sometimes I need reassurance that I'm doing something worthy or something that I'm doing is good. But I think I do need to keep an eye on my time management, because I seem to spend quite a bit of time kind of of a job or a project, especially if it's something creative. And writing copy, which is kind of what I've been doing, writing internal communications. So yeah, it's kind of wanting that check in with your managers if you're doing the right thing or if it's value adding, etc. But anyway, never mind about that. So another thing that's kind of been on my mind this month has been that my mother is moving house, and she's in this kind of limbo period at the moment. She's left a rental property that she was at, and she's waiting to get into the next one. But the problem is that she needs work doing. She needs some structural changes and plaster on the walls, etc. And it's quite time consuming. So she has got things all over in different houses. She's got things here. She's got things at my siblings. She's got things at my uncle's. So because she is kind of going from house to house at the minute, she is forgetting so many things and losing things, and yeah, and I think I kind of absorb that energy. I seem to kind of absorb the energy of the person I'm around, and yeah, it can be very overwhelming and tiring, I think, especially when you move in house and you don't quite know where your belongings are. It's super tough, and hopefully we're going to get that sorted as soon as possible. Trying to think of some days out I've had so far. So on the whole, January for me has been quite a quiet month. Generally speaking, I did see some good friends, but I did go to a pantomime. So this was the 4th of January. It was the first Saturday in January. We jumped on the train, myself and my other half and two friends from my days at the bank, and we went down to London and we watched Robin Hood, the pantomime, at the Palladium. And of course it was spectacular, it was outrageous, it was fun, there was innuendos, there was laughs and music, and it was nice to kind of go down to London, even though it was very brief. You know, we were back on the train literally a couple of hours after the show ended, so there was no time to go and look at the sights. It was a kind of straight back on the train and go back north, back home. But it was really, really good fun. We were kind of hoping to be eating and having a meal and all of that jazz, but it was just super tight, the logistics, and we had to get straight home. But the show was really good fun. I do like a good pantomime, and it is very much a British tradition. And what else have I been doing for entertainment wise? I haven't really been a lot of places, but I've been watching The Traitors on TV. So The Traitors, the UK version of The Traitors, which takes place in a big Scottish castle, has been really riveting fun. It just ended just the other night, and I loved it. I just completely immersed myself in it. I love it every year. No spoilers for anybody who watches it and hasn't finished it yet, but the US version of The Traitors, which is filmed kind of back to back with the UK version in the same castle in Scotland. I'm going to be watching out for that. I'm not sure if it's on BBC Play yet, but if it is, I'll be straight in watching that, and I do love the US version too. I'm not sure what is filmed first, whether it is the American or the British version, I'm not sure, but it is really riveting viewing. You all know that the sort of the story of the traders, or the format of the traders. A handful of people are handpicked out of a group to be traders, and it's the idea to eliminate the faithfuls and go undetected. It is really good viewing. It's full of double crossing and backstabbing, everything, which kind of makes great drama. Yeah. Every time I do these rambles, I always kind of put down what has been going on in my life throughout the month on here. There you go. So what else has been happening? So I've mentioned the gym, I've mentioned the January blues, I've mentioned the moving house, the panto and traders. Yeah, so I'm talking about some really mundane things as well. So my blinds in the window are jammed, they don't open, they are jammed closed. So I've had to bring them down and kind of have some jiggery and pokery around the mechanics inside, and there's a cog where the wire, the string that kind of holds up the blinds is all twisted. So I've tried to kind of untangle it, but it's no use. I mean, these blinds are 10 years old, and I've made the decision to get some new ones, but I'm going to go for plantation shutters, which are more expensive, but they are super nice and easy to manage. There is no pulley mechanism. You just kind of touch the blind and it closes. They come on kind of open hinges, so you can open them to get at the windows. So I'm really looking forward to getting some plantation blinds very, very soon. I told you not everything is really exciting or high drama, yeah. I went to London this week, just a few days after the pantomime trip, and I did some filming for my job, which is really busy at the moment. A lot of changes happening, and maybe that's the reason why I just feel a little bit off kilter, is the fact that there's a lot of change, and yeah, you kind of feel so isolated when you're just kind of on the other end of the phone. I don't know what it is. I could really do with some kind of support, some advice about how to manage kind of virtual working with that feeling, that lack of connection that you sometimes feel. Yes, I went to London on the 14th, and again that was kind of straight down and back, back up north, same day. I'd really like to kind of go to London and have a few days and have a look around at the sites. I just haven't done that in years, to be honest. Yeah, there was something really nice. So some neighbours of ours, a couple of doors up, we have a great relationship with them, and every quarter-ish, it's not regimented in any way, but we generally have a bit of a get-together with some of the other neighbours, and we play board games. We did a Christmas one, a post-Christmas catch-up, because if you remember, I was a little ill at Christmas and I had to cancel our get-together, but it was worth it because we had an amazing time kind of playing some really good card games. I love feeling a sense of community and getting on with your neighbours. I've just got the most amazing neighbours ever. You know, both sides. I get on so well with them, and it's almost like, you know, they're really good friends as well as neighbours. So with these other neighbours of ours, which are a couple of doors up, we generally take turns in going to each other's house, and I think there's 4 houses in circulation at the moment, and it's ours next. And I was thinking of doing a murder mystery night. This is the ones that you see in the shops and stores, you know, with you send out an invitation, you get a character, and that person reads all of the biography of the character, and they kind of embed that and come to the evening as that character. So we fancy doing that maybe in the springtime. Has anybody out there ever done a murder mystery night in their house? We can involve some food and yeah, see how it goes. I guess we could even do the traders. We could even play the traders. I know that there is a board game out for the traders. How cool would that be to do that? Yeah. So that was great. So we played Uno Wild. Are you familiar with the card game Uno? Where you get different cards and you can kind of jump to spaces, or you can reverse back. You can force people to change hands with you. It's great fun. And the idea is to get rid of all of your cards. It's a great game. I know that there's some variations of it too. What else has been happening? My mother's aunt was 90 on the 17th of January. 90 years old. So we made a bit of a fuss over her and bought her some gifts. And yeah, it's a nice age to reach, and she is bright as a button for 90 years old, to be honest. She doesn't miss a trick. She really can run circles around me from memory. So, yeah, that was good. Now we had the most almighty storm on Friday, the 24th of January. It was horrendous. It was called Storm Ewan, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody else from the UK watching this. But it was absolutely off the scale horrendous. The winds were like just tearing off roofs and trees. Our street is kind of covered with bits of branches. And yeah, there's been a lot of damage. Now my roof tiles have come off a little bit as well. So there's going to be some repairs that I need to do, as well as a wall. There was a little wall outside in my backyard, and that's blown down. And it's unreal that the weather has kind of created these kind of damage, and it's all over the country. In fact, I would say that the West Coast and Ireland have really had a hammering, because I'm East Coast. It was an amber warning that we had, but there was a whole portion of the country which had a red warning, which is a danger to life. So we are just picking up the pieces of that awful storm, and there is another storm on the way actually, but it's not as bad. It's going to be gale force winds, but just not as bad, and a lot of rain. But it's been a tough day on Friday, just with all of the adverse weather that we've had. And yeah, there is lots and lots of carnage throughout the country. trees ripped out of the ground, even telephone wires kind of flapping around, which are dangerous as well. I hope everybody else is okay who's been in Storm Ewan. I hope I pronounced that right. But sending lots of thoughts to everybody out there, including my subscribers and friends in Los Angeles with those awful fires. It's been absolutely horrendous to see that on TV, and I know I did a post about the fires, but it really has been a really, really tough period, and hopefully, we've seen the back of all of that, and we can start to rebuild and heal, and try to get a sense of normality, even though I know that's going to be very, very tough for a lot of people. On a brighter note, looping back to what I said earlier on about sometimes not always sure if you're doing a value add at work, I actually got a surprise hamper yesterday. My neighbour brought it to my door because I was out in Tynemouth yesterday. I went to this lovely flea market with all of these amazing stalls selling records and all these crazy crafty things. They're really good, but when I got back last night I had a hamper which had been left with my neighbour, and he brought it in last night, but it was a chocolate hamper full of chocolates and truffles and all sorts of really cool yummy things. And it was super nice, and it was from some managers at work, just to say thank you for an event that I supported the other day. That was really nice because I was feeling a little bit down over that, because I drove an hour to go to this event and then realised that I'd left my charger for my laptop at the venue. And by the time I realised it was the end of my shift, and I couldn't do a handover because I had something like 3% left on my laptop. So I had a nightmare. I raced down to the local Argos, which is like a catalogue shop, and I purchased a universal charger. The laptop that I've been provisioned with is a Dell Latitude model, and then I found that it didn't work, it didn't charge, so I'm left really with no charger. And when you're going to have a few days on annual leave, it isn't a great feeling that you can't provide a quality handoff. So I was a little bit up in arms over it. Hopefully everything's okay. I'm sure it will be. But the hamper was super nice, and I'm so grateful that they gave me that. It was super nice. I wasn't expecting it, and I certainly appreciate it though. So that was super nice. Which brings us to today, which is the 26th of January. Now, I believe that there's another storm on its way. Not as powerful, but a little bit more wetter and just windy. I did see the name of the storm, but I can't remember. It's been named by the Spanish authorities. I should look it up, but I can't remember what the name of it is. But that's on its way. So yeah, January for me has been a mixed bag of bittersweet. Some lovely, lovely things like the pantomime, the lovely hamper I got, watching The Traitors on TV, which has got me absolutely gripped. But also a lot of upheaval, with my mother moving and not settled yet. Feeling a little bit isolated with working from home, and feeling a little bit isolated and on the back foot on the job that I'm doing. So, and the storms that we've had. But that is life. Good things, bad things, and different things happen to us all the time. But I do hope your month has been really good, and I can't wait to read your comments about how things have been for you. February is another busy month. It just seems like there's one thing after another with my job. Lots of things going on. One of them is Adobe Creative Cloud. I've got to get my head around Adobe Creative Cloud, and I haven't used it in probably about 6 or 7 years. I use Final Cut Pro to use my editing with, but yeah, my job dictates that I need to use this software, and I'm kind of learning as I'm going and reacquainting myself with it, especially with Illustrator and Premiere Pro. But again, it's that deadline, that feeling that you've got constant deadlines, and you've got to kind of try and achieve something, a constant battle of trying to achieve something. That's sometimes how it feels. But anyway, the month of January, but the days are getting lighter, which is great. Before we know it, we'll be, enjoying much lighter nights and longer days, and I can't wait for that. But everything else is fine, and don't be alarmed just because I've had a couple of things which haven't gone so well this month. I think that is normal life. It just happens. Things happen, but then things constantly keep moving on. The world keeps turning, and nothing really changes. But I do hope you're well. I send you lots of love and all my energy, and hope you've had a fantastic month. And if you haven't, like me, it's been a bit kind of uppy downy. Let's believe that February is going to be a really good solid month of just finding our feet in this new year, and getting some great results with all the things that we want to achieve. So without further ado, I'm going to sign off again and say good night, and thank you so much, and I will see you again for another ramble at the end of February. So you